Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. It's me, Akif. Today I'm going to tell you a very emotional and beautiful Bengali story written by a famous writer, Humayun Ahmed. The name of this story is Megher Upor Bari. So let's start. This is not a just simple story. This is a story about loneliness, dreams, emotions, silence, and the hidden pain inside the human heart. The story begins in a small and quiet town in Bangladesh. The town was not very busy. There were narrow roads, old houses, small tea stalls, and the distant sound of trains in the evening. The entire town carried a soft and lonely feeling. In that town lived a young man. He lived a very ordinary life. Every morning he woke up, did his daily work, spoke politely to people, and returned home quietly. But deep inside his heart, he always felt empty. He often felt different from everyone around him. While other people enjoyed noise and crowds, he preferred silence. He loved to cook at the sky for long hours, especially the clouds. Whenever white clouds slowly floated across the evening sky, he became lost his thought. He believed that somewhere above the clouds there might be another world, a peaceful world without pain, loneliness, or sadness. Since childhood, he had carried a strange dream in his heart. He wanted to build a small house above the clouds. Of course, he knew such a thing was impossible in real life. But dream is not. But some dreams are not born from reality. Some dreams are born from emotions. The young man spoke very little. People thought he was calm and polite, but nobody truly understood the loneliness hidden inside him. His room looked exactly like his mind. A small room, books beside the window, old diaries on the table, pictures of the sky hanging on the wall. All night he often sat alone, listening to music or watching the rain fall outside his window. Then one day everything slowly began to change. He met a young woman. She was completely different from him. She loved to laugh. She found happiness in small things. Her eyes were full of life, or warmth and kindness. The first time he saw her smile, something changed inside his heart. Slowly, they began talking. At first, Their conversations were simple. How are you? Do you like rain? What kind of music do you listen to? But little by little, their connection became deeper. One evening, they sat together on a rooftop, watching the cloudy sky. The wind was soft and the air smelled like rain. The girl smiled and asked him, "Why do you look at the clouds so much?" The young man stayed silent for a few seconds and then quietly replied, "Because I feel like there is a house above the clouds, a place where people never feel lonely." The girl smiled gently, but inside her smile there was understanding. After that day, they grew closer. They walked together in the rain. They drank tea in small roadside shops. Sometimes they talked for hours. Sometimes they stayed silent and still understood each other perfectly. For the first time in many years, the young man felt alive again. The girl brought light into the darkness of his lonely life. But life is never as simple as dream. Slowly, problems entered their lives. Family pressure, fear about the future, misunderstandings, distance. The silence between them slowly grew heavier. The two people who once talked endlessly now struggled to find words. One night, heavy rain was falling across the city. The young man stood alone on the rooftop under the dark clouds. He felt as if all the happiness in his life was slowly disappearing. That night we understood something painful. Some people enter our lives not to stay forever, but to change us forever. Later, that night, he opened his diary and wrote, "Every human heart carries unfinished dreams. My dream was a house above the clouds, a place where I would never feel lonely again." As time passed, they slowly drifted apart. Nobody blamed each other. Still, the relationship was no longer the same. One quiet afternoon, the young man once again looked up at the sky. White clouds were floating slowly across the blue horizon. There was sadness. There was sadness in his eyes, but there was peace too, because he finally understood not every love story ends with two people staying together. Some love stories exist only to leave beautiful memories behind. The ending of this story is soft, slow, and deeply emotional. It teaches us that loneliness is a real life part of human. Some dreams never come true, yet people never stop dreaming, and some people remain in our hearts forever, just like clouds in the sky. Maybe there is no real house above the clouds, but every lonely heart dreams of a peaceful place someday, and perhaps that dream itself is what keeps people alive. Thank you so much for listening to my stories.